Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will and with me is the woodland wonder herself,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Everdell, the complete collection. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right, in Everdell, players will settle new territories in the valley through tableau building and worker placement. Players will collect resources, build buildings, hire characters to live and work in their villages. The player with the most points after 4 seasons wins. Okay, so Will, how do the rules change for 2 players?
So for 2 players in all the different expansions, you will only use 3 of the forest cards, and each forest card will only have 1 worker spot per card.
Available. There's actually 2 on there, but you can only use 1.
Right. Other than that, when it comes to Spirecrest, there are going to be map tiles. Map tiles are going to be based on player count, so 1 more than the number of players, 3 for a 2-player game. Otherwise, the other changes have more to do with solo play or 5 and 6 players. That's where it changes the number of workers you use, the number of special events are available, that sort of thing.
Right.
Additionally, you have the option if you have Mistwood,
which is in the box.
Which is in this box, an AI player known as Nightweave Giant Spider. So if you want to go for that and have more of a 3-player feeling game, you can have that with the AI bot.
Right.
Otherwise, bot is optional.
Right. Otherwise, it's just for solo play. And then just for interesting, there are 2 different ways to play solo. So
Yes.
Okay, so issues at a 2-player count, it's just harder to pair cards because you're just going to see fewer cards. Fewer cards are just going to come out.
Right. That actually connects with a different point we're going to make is the meadow being stagnant.
Yeah.
So the meadow is a shared space where both players can interact with. If you have more players, there's going to get a lot more interaction, and that's what's going to alleviate that staleness and thus then allow you to see more characters for pairing.
Right.
That's just not the case with 2 players.
Right. And so another thing with the whole fewer cards, you're going to see fewer destination cards. And destination cards are interesting because I can build one in my city, and if it has an open sign on it, Will could come and use my destination card for its effect, and I get a reward. It's usually points, I believe.
I believe out of all the games we've played, we've had destinations open, but we've never used each other's destination.
No, it's just one of those hard things to remember, I guess?
Yeah, even with the open sign.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's not true. Because there's a thing that is good for 2 players that I think is why we don't use destinations.
Okay, so let's move on to what it does well for 2 players.
The game is open.
Yeah.
That's why we don't really use all those destinations, because as spots fill up, well, we might want a particular benefit. That's when it's a good time to look at other players' areas. Do you have a destination for me that'll get what I want done? And that's just not necessary in a 2-player game as much.
There's just there's only one other person competing for resource spots or getting the cards. And so if there's a card in the meadow that you want, you can kind of tell if the other person is or isn't going to go for it. And if they're not, then you could build it and have it. But, it's just, like you said, there's just a lot more openness that probably isn't there in a higher player count game.
Right.
Okay, I think that's everything for the 2-player experience. So let's move on to accessibility. So some of the challenges, some of the font is not the best. And I think it's kind of part and parcel with the graphic design. There's just the overall graphic design of a lot of the cards is very busy. They made it very artsy, which, as we've discussed in other videos, artsy usually impedes information understanding.
Yes.
So because there's so much information, not the greatest font, they're very busy cards. Some things kind of blend in a little bit. They're just really hard to impossible to read from a distance, which goes back to that whole destination. If someone else has a destination card, you may literally not know that, even if they're sitting right next to you, because you can't tell that they have a destination card.
Let's just say there's a reason why they included open signs to remind people to look over and like, oh, you have an open sign. I can't see what it is. Can you tell me what it is?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you were like, okay, is that an R or a C? Or is
Yeah.
that a this letter or a this letter? Because the fonts can get that artistic.
Right. Yeah. It's not all bad, but because it's there enough, it's a stumbling block.
Yeah.
Also, your hand of cards is supposed to be kept hidden. Now, I did read Will his cards, and I don't think it affected our games. I mean, he won just as much as I won, mostly because there's so much information, there's so much going on. I'm reading you your cards, and it's just not even sticking in my head.
Yeah. In one ear, out the other.
Yeah, I'm really just reading it, and then I'm going back to what am I doing? So, speaking of this nice, big, complete collection, when you first get it, it can be a bit overwhelming to organize and sort and put into all the places. Now, thank goodness the meeples come already in the meeple tray.
Right.
That's one less thing you have to deal with.
But there's still a good deal of punch board.
And cards, and other things that you just have to figure out where they go. So there is a lot of stuff in the right place, but there's still a lot that you have to sort and organize.
Let's just say we did our research and actually found a video
Yeah.
on how to sort the box.
I definitely highly recommend going onto YouTube and looking for how to organize the complete collection. It's just going to be so much easier. So also then kind of leading into that is learning this for the first time because you have everything. It can be a bit overwhelming to learn. Now, if you just stay focused, we'll talk about it in a moment, and just do the base game, then a base game with an expansion, it's an easy progression, but it can still be very overwhelming at the very beginning.
Do you recall how long we had this before we decided to open it up?
Not very long, because we were both very excited.
Yeah, but we were still intimidated
We were.
surely by the size.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we got it played within 2 to 3 weeks, which is fast for us.
Yes.
I think it was more just trying to find a time.
Right.
We had to organize
because we
it.
knew a whole day was going to be dedicated to just let's sort this box.
Right. And that's what we
figure
did.
out-
I feel like we did it on a Friday where we just organized the box, learned how to play. We might have started a game. I don't know. I don't remember now.
Yeah, we might have started on Saturday and finally
Yes.
ended on Sunday.
Yeah. The other thing is stickers. So this is kind of a mobility issue. Stickers, thankfully, are not a requirement. In fact, I know a lot of people aren't stickering their meeples. They do have stickers for every single meeple and on both sides. So you have a sticker for, so 2 stickers per meeple. They're fiddly. They've got tiny little arms and tails. And they're challenging.
They're precise.
Very, very precise.
The stickers are cut to the same measurements as the meeples themselves.
So there's no room for error.
Right. So you have to get it perfectly on there. Otherwise, you'll have a little bit of sticker coming off and then it starts sticking to stuff
Yeah.
and then it starts... Yeah, you have to be very careful. And there is a lot of meeples. I think just the Occupy tokens, they're just a round brown disc. Those were the simplest one. But there was like 100 of those stickers because I think there was like 50 of those tokens.
Yes, there were. I let you do those because so here's the thing. I was not going to do any stickering. But Will, surprisingly, was like, we have to do all the stickers.
They're in the box.
So
I'm going to
like,
use
fine.
them.
So the good news here is what we did is we stickered as we used meeples. So each time we sat down to play, we choose new player meeples, stickered them, and then played the game. So doing them slowly over time is great. Here's another challenging part is when you get to the frog ambassadors and the rabbit travelers, because they're all the same shape, getting them on the correct color, because it's like their clothing represents the color of the meeple, the shades are so close to each other. Go to Board Game Geek, go to, I think it's in the base, I think it's in the base Everdell. I don't know if it's in the complete collection files or the base Everdell files, but someone made, it might be for this one, someone made a guide.
Yeah, they took all the sticker sheets, laid them out, and put the meeples.
Yeah, put the
on there to
meeple
match.
picture over them so you can get them correct. Granted, if you put the peach shirt on the pink one and the pink shirt on the peach one, you probably won't really be able to tell the difference. But if you really want them accurate,
Yeah.
that's where you go.
Oh, and there is a warning that for the large meeples, because you can also use saddles on them, they don't recommend both.
Yes.
Because they said the saddles, when you take them on and off, can just ruin the stickers.
Yes, agreed. I think, though, it does cover everything that is a problem. So moving on to what the game does well, they double-coded all the icons with color for the 5 main types of cards in the main deck.
Yeah, there's prosperity, governance, travelers, destinations, and production.
Yes. So you aren't going to get any of those mixed up. All the rest of the icons, generally speaking, are so unique, or they're just black. Some of them can sometimes appear small. That is probably the hardest part, is the cards that are for the different expansions. They're in the bottom box area on the left side. Those can get a little small to see, but they're distinct icons still. And as we talked, the meeples are uniquely shaped. Some of them, I mean, I think there's like 3 different greens. There's the peach and the pink. I mean, so you've got a lot of colors.
I know a couple of reds, a couple of blues.
So there's a couple of colors that are really close to each other, but they're all uniquely shaped. So the only problem you're going to have is that stickering issue. Most of the game is open information. Like we said, it's just the hand of cards. So if you are having trouble with anything, hopefully someone around the table will be able to help you. Also, what's really nice about having this complete collection is it's a 1 rule book. So it's a complete rule book. It's well organized. It's indexed. You can find, or sorry, not indexed. It has a table of contents. So you can see where, like, if you want to know how to set up Belfair, how to play Belfair, there's page numbers that tells you where that is. There's also what they call the archive.
Yes.
That has a really good icon reference at the beginning, and then it goes over all the cards in the whole game for every expansion. So it's very comprehensive.
Yeah, I do believe that if you don't buy this, they do sell a special upgrade pack that has the 1 rule book.
Yeah, it does.
And I think the archive with it.
Yes, it's both booklets, and
Printed.
you can buy them on their website.
Yeah.
Okay, conclusion.
For 2 players.
I say yes. I mean, it has its detractions, but I think it's balanced out by what it does so well. So I would recommend it for 2.
Yeah, 2 players. This is a really good game. A bit pricey, but I did have a fun time, and I do look forward to playing it again. And want to play it again. So
yes, and if you want to know more about our thoughts on all of it, we will have a video called
The Final Roll.
The Final Roll.
Yes.
The Final Roll.
Yes. Otherwise, we're going to be breaking it down from the base game through all the expansions. The only expansion we won't cover is Mist Wood, because that's more of the solo play. And
we didn't play it, so we don't want to,
Yes, we don't want to give it bad ratings or good ratings.
Right, just 'cause we didn't play it, so we're not going. We'll tell you about it in that final video. So.
Yes. Accessibility.
I say yes. I mean, if you can get over just not stickering, that's a huge mobility problem there. And I think there's going to be some minor things here and there, but I think most people are going to be okay with this game.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge I can see for most people is going to be the sprawl.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be mobility challenge-wise, just reaching over and, interacting with stuff, seeing stuff at a distance, and the fact that maybe people don't have a table space big enough.
Yeah, that was a big problem for us. This table is not that deep.
Yeah.
So
we need a whole other table if we want to add 2 more players.
Exactly.
And probably a 3rd table if we want to add 5 and 6 players.
I'm still not sure I could see playing this at 5 or 6, but to each their own.
Yes. So accessibility, yes, with caveats. All right, that will do it for us. And Sarah, for our little woodland land, I know this is the Valley of Everdell. Do you have a town name for your little Everdell town that you built?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like some flowers that I like, but I really don't like flowers. But I would probably call it some sort of flower, I'll just call it Flower Bell. I like Flower Bell.
Flower Bell.
Flower Bell.
Yes.
How about you?
Woodchuck.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes. And why would you ever roll with just 1 when you could be
rolling with 2?
And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.